I made an agreement with God, source, universe, with my higher self that if I get a message, I got to say it.
I love it.
I
freaking love it. You're listening to the Spiritual Shitshow podcast with Suzanne Sole, episode 51. Hello, you stunning beauties, and welcome to the Spiritual Shitshow podcast, where we get into the whirlwind circus the healing and spiritual awakening journey can be. I'm your host, Suzanne Sole, comedian, lifelong spiritual student, and I'm sharing some of the healing and spiritual souvenirs I've learned along my journey that have helped me, and that I hope help you too. Okay, so listen. My guest for the next 2 delicious episodes, the delightful Lisa Gehrke, I'm not gonna lie, has been a dear friend of mine since junior high. Yeah. Like that kind of friend. She's also an empath and intuitive. And let me tell you something. I am not one of those people who tries to keep my friends down or keep the people in my life, quote unquote, in their place when they're doing or being something that makes them special, just so I can attempt to maintain some illusion of superiority or control. Because that kind of nonsense is bullshit. So BT dubs, if you find yourself doing that kind of shit with your friends or family, cut it the fuck out. I mean, just fucking stop it. Because that is a garbage thing to do. I'm sorry. Anyway, back to my gorgeous guest and pal, Lisa Gehrke, who I have had the wonderful privilege of being a receiver of her amazing gifts many, many times. But let me tell you something. Having an intuitive friend is a total friend bonus. You know what I mean? My delightful friend Lisa has been an empath and intuitive since childhood, as well as a comedic actress and voiceover artist for a long-ass time, I might add. She has actually been on several episodes of my live stream sketch and improv show, The Suzanne Sole Show. You can check that show out on the Suzanne Sole Facebook page and YouTube channel, BT Tubbs. There are 3 seasons that were live streamed from this same guest room I'm coming to you from right now. So this guest room has really pulled some major double duty as a guest room and a broadcast studio. And yes, I have had guests in here on occasion as well. So anyway, what I'm saying is that in addition to Lisa's work as an intuitive that you can check out on her website, mysticredbird.com, she also has her own podcast with her pal Kristen O'Meara, called Double Bubble with Gehrke and Keek, which is totally madcap and saucy BTW, that I have had the pleasure of being on as a recurring guest, Bunny. So good times. As an empath and intuitive, Lisa grew up in the 70s and 80s, so she was deaf navigating a world that wasn't as open to the concept of personal healing as it is today. So it was probably pretty frustrating, I can imagine. Her natural sensitivity to energy and emotion became the foundation of her work, helping others find clarity, comfort, and transformation through intuitive tarot card readings. She says she uses the cards as a sacred tool of divination, blending ancient symbolism with deep emotional insight. Guided by spirit and compassion, Lisa creates a safe, healing space where each message unfolds with purpose, awakening intuition, restoring a connection to the divine within, and inviting the soul to remember its own wisdom. I mean, who wouldn't love that? I am so delighted to share her work and her story with all you all. So let's get into part 1 of my wonderful chitty chat with my friend Lisa Gehrke. Roll it. Lisa Gehrke!
Hi.
Welcome to the Spiritual Shitshow interview shit show.
Wow, there you go. It's not just a shit show. Now it's an interview shit show.
Correct.
Okay.
It's because now it's about your shit show.
Oh, yeah.
And your gloriousness.
Phoenix, wait.
Your,
my rise from the ashes.
That's right.
As the
Your
Phoenix.
majestic nature.
Yes.
Okay. So Lisa Gehrke, I was looking at, she has a website. You have a website.
I do.
The Mystic Red Bird.
Right.
Okay.
.com.
.com, everyone. And you say you offer tarot and oracle card consultations.
Yes.
Tell me more.
So for a lot of tarot card readers, we each have our own way of how we operate, right? And so for me, I use the cards as a divination tool. So I call it more of a consultation because what I'm trying to do is help people connect to their intuition.
Okay, wait, just stop 1 second.
Yeah.
A what tool? A divination?
Divination.
Okay, very good. So
Divine.
they're divine. Yes,
right.
Understood.
So I feel that, a small percentage of our soul resides in this earthly body, and the majority of the rest of us is out in the ether, in heaven, in the universe, whatever you want to call it. And I believe that part of us, that's our true connection to God. So while I have found my way to access those tools, I know that not everyone has in how humanity lives. So I feel like part of what my job is, like a love Sherpa is what I call myself.
Oh, I love that.
Is to help people connect to their intuition. In a weird way, I use the tarot cards because people seem more comfortable with that medium other than me just having a conversation with them.
Right.
So that's kind of what I do.
I want to kind of just go back to something you said that struck me, which is we're in our bodies, and then there's a part of us that's in the ethers, in like space, the spaciousness.
Yeah.
Can you just kind of like specify that a little bit so I can understand?
Yeah, so I don't have a scientific
yes, of
calculation
course, I know. Yes,
of
but
that.
This is your feeling.
But yeah, this is just something that I've matriculated over the years of my spiritual journey.
Yeah.
Because at times I feel lost, and sometimes I feel like I'm not really even of this planet. And what's really come to resonate for me is I am eternal. We are all eternal beings. We are energetic. We have frequency. And I think I call Earth School, that we come here to live in Christ consciousness, which is unconditional love.
Yeah.
So as beings coming into this three-dimensional existence, we come here fraught with peril. We come to have a human existence where there is all kinds of emotions, abject, fear to abject joy. And I believe that we come in with this small portion of our total soul expression to create expansion, to create new consciousness. And the souls that come in for the heavy lifting.
Yeah.
And feel that. I don't feel that in the ethers, if you will, we have that much of a dynamic of negative and positive emotions because we're positive.
Right. Oh, okay. So our energy is life affirmative. It's positive. And so every emotion is a natural positive experience.
Yeah, I really don't believe that I don't believe that if I wasn't incarnate in this body here, that I would feel any of the negatively impactful emotions that I feel on Earth.
I gotcha. Okay.
But I feel that in this human expression that my soul comes in, and all of our roles here is to come back to understanding joy in ourselves. And that's the expansion, the creation of universes.
I mean, just to come out a little even more. So what is your belief or your feeling or your intuitive vision of why is it all happening?
Why do we come in here?
Why? Yes. Why?
For that very reason that I just said, to continue to create universes. Matter cannot be destroyed. And as we continue to evolve and grow, we get to create new consciousness, new parallel existence.
So what I'm hearing is like the source needs to create. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so it's creating and it's evolving and creating and evolving and creating and evolving over and over and a million, bazillion, gazillion times.
Yeah. And I think some of our souls have been here hundreds of times, thousands of times.
Yeah.
I think that we have, other souls that come from other planets or universes to help this shit show of humanity right now. Yeah. I truly, truly feel that at this time that we are on the cusp of change. You have to pull up the carpet and see the rats and the cockroaches before effective change can happen.
Amen.
And I feel that souls like myself that have come in at this time, I'm here to help the younger souls, or I should say the people that are in physical incarnation that are younger. And that's where I get the love Sherpa aspect. Like a Sherpa, when you go to Mount Everest, the Sherpa carries all your stuff, but you're still doing all the work. Yeah. And so that's how I feel when I do coaching, and that's how I feel when I use the cards. Yeah. That I really help you engage and become in tune with what resonates for you. It's not my message. It's your message. Yeah. I'm just helping you find it. Yeah.
And I love what you said. I have my one-woman show, The Spiritual Awakening Comedy Cabaret, but I make mention of the idea of, I compare the process to if somebody's clearing their acne, all their zits come up when they start treatment before their skin gets clear.
Yeah.
And mine is grosser.
Yeah.
But
well,
but I believe that as well. And I think it's very hopeful to any folks who are just feeling overwhelmed by, what's happening in life right now and in the world. And,
it's hard.
It's hard.
I mean,
it really is hard.
I tend not to watch the news as much.
Yeah.
I think that there are people, human forms that reside here, that don't want us as a collective to be joyful.
Right.
Because then that means we all have everything that we ever want. It's like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah.
When you finally get to that place, you get your happily ever after.
Right.
There are some beings in this world, some soul expressions that thrive on the fact that most of us don't know how to get that.
Right. And I also think that in big and very small ways and in very big ways, the need or belief that they do need to control.
Exactly.
Is.
And you do that by fear.
Yeah.
Right? So love cannot be in the same place that fear is.
Yeah.
Right? So when we learn how to release fear, we can bring more love in. But you have to understand, as human beings, we do have to understand the dynamic of negative and positive emotions.
Yeah.
That's what makes us appreciate it so much. I know you personally, me personally.
Lisa and I have known each other for 40.
Couple of decades.
Yeah, over 40 years.
Yeah, over 40 years.
And she is just, I'm just going to mug the camera. She is just a love of my life. She is one of my favorite people.
Me too.
And I have grown and we have grown together so
We've
much.
gone through our shit shows together.
Yes, we have. And we've so many times been in alignment. And she has just been such a soft place to land for me. And
you're gonna make me cry because I
God.
I love you so much.
I
now
know.
we're just gonna be crying.
We're just gonna this other time.
And that's so much,
and I've watched you grow in your intuition, and it's always been so apparent to me that your main intention and agenda in life is to work with yourself to be able to be as loving as possible.
And so if you don't
and
mind,
that's
if
beautiful. Please
go
do.
there with this.
Yes.
So, when I came into this world, I came into a really interesting dynamic. I believe we choose our family members and I believe we have soul contracts with people. And I chose a hell of a family to land in.
Yeah.
And,
tell me more about that.
Well, my parents divorced when I was really young. My father was an alcoholic. We all have our stories, right?
Yes.
But I also knew that I was different from a very young age.
Yes.
And I was a sensitive child.
Yes.
And I was often told I was too emotional,
Yes.
and so then I started developing these feelings of not having self-worth and self-esteem because I was too much, right? The proverbial, you're too much.
Right.
My family loved me very much. I never felt that I was an absence of love.
Right.
However, they could not support me in what I was feeling because they didn't know it.
They didn't understand
right?
it. Yeah.
And
sure.
we were a Christian family. And so I was raised in that doctrine and they couldn't support me because anything that I was feeling, believing, deja vu, listening to songs or having dreams and understanding or experiences that were not in the present moment, right? Like I saw stuff that happened in the future, or I would imagine that someone was calling and they called, like those kind of things. From a religious point of view, by the time I got into catechism, I was told that literally I asked the question and I was told that was the devil's work.
Yes, of course.
So that shut that down.
Yeah.
Right. And then I went through life the way that everyone else does, work, job, relationships, all that stuff. And then I hit a really low point in 2011 where I kind of liken it to a nervous breakdown. I mean, I lost my shit. I didn't know why I was here. I had no idea what this journey was about for me. I was so confused. I was getting divorced. I had friends that had died. I mean, I really was lost. And I was going through a modality and working with this gentleman, and it was super effectual for me. And I could start to see where things are coming out. And that's really where I feel like my spiritual aspect burst open.
Yeah, that's the love, infinite love and gratitude.
Yeah, it's the lifeline connection.
Yes.
Dr. Darren Weissman, that's his system.
Yes.
And I credit it with saving my life.
I remember how much it blossomed you. I remember that.
Yeah. I was, every time I walked in the man's office, I was crying. And I'm like, when will I stop crying? And he said, when you're done.
Yeah, that's
right.
I love that.
I've always had people come to me, spiritual things come to me. I don't really liken myself as a medium where I don't call them in, if you will.
Right.
But I've always felt it and always been very attuned to that. I started, when this nervous breakdown quote unquote, because that's where I'll leave it. I really don't like that terminology, but we'll put it there because I was messed up.
Yeah.
I started seeing hearts everywhere. That was the beginning of me seeing hearts in nature and on things. And
That's
what
her
that
thing,
that's
hearts.
my thing. But what it told me and showed me was that love was everywhere. Yeah. My divine was everywhere. My higher self was everywhere.
God. I'm feeling that.
So
Beautiful.
whenever I see hearts, whether I'm having a good day or a bad day, it makes me feel joyful. Yesterday, I was bringing my rent check to my landlord, and in the sky was the biggest heart I had ever seen in my life. It was
cloud heart.
It was a cloud heart, and it was astonishing that I'm trying to race home to get my camera. By the time I'd gone back, it had gone, and I'm like, and I just went, okay, so it wasn't meant for me to share. It was meant for me to see.
Yeah, it was for you.
And I took that in. But
I love that.
I had this moment. I was staying with my mom, and I was feeling so broken. And I woke up. And I was like, I think she needs to take me to an institution. I think I need to check in for my mental health because I was just feeling so fractured. And it was 5:30 in the morning and the light was shining into the room. And I had taken a medication to kind of help chill me out. But that medication had not taken effect yet. And I laid down and I heard this most beautiful voice and it said, I love you, Lisa Jane. I'm not going to let anything happen to you and it's going to be all right. I love you. I love you. And that's when I understood it was my voice. It wasn't anyone else's voice.
Yes, I understand this.
And that's when I understood truly that my higher self was all around me to make sure that I was okay when I was not okay.
Yes.
When physically I was not okay.
In your humanity and in your brain and in your mind, you felt not okay. And I love that. There was this part of you that is like, there is a part of you, which is me. And we're okay.
And that's where things switched for me. But that's when I started to understand what the fuck, can I say that?
Yes.
What the fuck I was here for, which is to love. That is it. It's not being a famous entertainer. It's not being a famous, creator of content or a good mom or wife or sister or whoever the fuck everybody else wants me to be.
Yeah.
I am here to love, to give love to as many people as possible, to receive love. And that's been the harder part. Like I get the whole giving. The receiving is only in the last 5-10 years or so that I've really started to understand if I'm giving it, I should be receiving it.
Yes.
There's the balance.
Yeah.
So it was on that part of that journey as I was continuing to understand what being a loving person, I always was.
Yes.
But now I understood that why that little girl didn't quite fit in all the time because here I had this empathic personality, this soul that had so much love to give and I didn't really know how to do that.
Yes. And I just wanted to ask, like, what were some of the moments when you were young that made you say, I'm seeing something beyond the veil. I'm seeing something beyond what's in front of me.
I remember an instance where I was going to a family party and I arrived to the family party and all these people are having their conversations. And what I realized is that I had dreamt that the night before. Like people are saying, and it wasn't anything big.
Sure.
It was just my uncle was talking to my aunt. And my grandmother was doing this. And I'm like, whoa, what is going on? And then when I was in high school with a mutual good friend of ours, we went to pick up a girlfriend to go somewhere. And they lived like on a second floor, kind of, that's where their kitchen was. And we walked up the stairs and we saw the curtains part. And I knew it was her grandmother. And in that house, I had heard her grandmother's voice. We were listening to the Thriller by Michael Jackson. We were 13 years old.
I love it.
And I heard this woman call out my girlfriend's mother's name. Deanna.
I'm like, oh, I know who it is.
And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, someone's just calling your mom's name. And it feels like and I never met her grandma.
Yeah.
It feels like an older woman. That's when I was really, I had my whole life kind of started feeling these things.
Yes.
But things always, as I progressed through this journey, I'm more confident in thinking that I'm not crazy.
Yes. That was what I was going to say is like, I think, if you're to have those moments where you're like seeing the grandmother and you're hearing, it's like, it has to come in, I think, so gently to cause you not to be like, run out of the house screaming.
Well, I think for a while, I didn't trust that. Certainly for a while. So there was parts like in my teenage years to my mid-20s where I just kind of did the life thing and I really wasn't accessing the gifts that I'm aware of now. But through that, you sometimes have to be careful that you don't get that imposter feeling. Like, who the fuck am I to be able to tell you that your grandmother's here? Like, how do I can't tell you that I for sure know that, but I'm feeling this stuff. And what started happening for me is I made an agreement with God, source, universe, with my higher self, that if I get a message, I gotta say it.
I love it.
Like,
I freaking love it.
I'm like, I know that's because that's not Lisa. When the voices come through me or I hear a message, sometimes if they're not written down, I don't remember them because I am not saying them. I don't think I'm not possessed or anything like that. But I'm getting downloaded a message.
Yeah.
Well, some people get someone is, and I know that there are other readers that get embodied by,
other like a channel.
Yeah. A different, but my channel's a little bit different.
Yeah.
They all are.
Yeah.
So, I made this deal that if they were going to use me to give messages to people that that Lisa wouldn't not.
I got to tell you how much I love that. I don't know why. It's like it's
been challenging.
It's just striking me like just so deeply, and I don't know. What a commitment to make.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. You're
it's
definitely
phenomenal.
walking without any pants on,
yeah,
for sure.
And I love that. And it's like, honestly, that's, I think, why I'm loving it so much. It's like you're out of the matrix of saying, I'm not going to listen to this.
Or should I or shouldn't I? Like sometimes sometimes when I get a message, there was a particular situation where someone's husband passed, then subsequently a best friend passed. And when the best friend passed, I definitely got a message. And I didn't know if that was just going to be a message. Sometimes I have to discern, is it a message for me?
Yeah.
Or am I supposed to share it? Yeah. And I have to sit with it sometimes for a minute. And I usually do.
Yeah.
Because then I was able to discern a little bit that was just them giving me a message about the situation and that person wouldn't have received it well at that time.
Yeah.
So if I see that person in the future and I feel like they want me to share that then, basically what they wanted me to tell her is that her best friend is with her husband and that I felt the energy and there were specific messages about how she was handling things. And sometimes, I do get to have a little bit of discernment. And then there's other times where, especially someone had passed, someone had posted something on Facebook and I hadn't talked to this man for 20 years and I sent him a message. I said, I've got a message for you. I'm not sure if you're open to hearing. And that's usually how I preface things. I have a message that I've received. I don't know if I'm in touch with my spiritual side. Are you open to that? Because I never want to not have permission.
Force it on
I think
someone.
we've learned that in all aspects of this life is we want to be respectful of other people's boundaries. And if they're not open to the message, I don't have an ego involved with it. Here's the message, do or don't. I don't care.
It feels like when you make a pact like that, you've come into a collaboration with
That's great. That's
spirit.
a great.
And so that's why I could imagine that it would be like less ego-based or not ego-based at all, because you're like part of a flow of information or intuition that you're in collaboration with the divine.
Right.
And so it's like you're working with the divine and for the divine.
Which makes it really easy for me to give other people messages, but so flippin' hard to take in my own sometimes. Because I am also a human being having a human existence.
Yes.
And I'm here to learn things.
Yeah.
So, sometimes I have to use my own, I use a crystal for yes or no questions.
Yes, I've used it on me.
Yes, and some people, you might see, because on TikToks and whatnot, you might see people using what they call dowsing poles, and they'll cross. It's the same thing. It's
okay.
And the idea behind that is that it's frequency.
Oh,
so either we're vibrating with a truthful frequency or it's untrue for us.
Right.
And so I'll use that if I'm really in a pickle and I'm not able to connect. If I get overwhelmed by something or I don't know how to move forward, I will use these tools as well to get myself out of the way.
Yeah.
Because I have fear. I have anxiety that I get from time to time. I think as an empath, I pick up so much of the collective energy. Sometimes it just gets a little overwhelming and I have to shut down. I'm like that introvert extrovert, life of the party, but then I gotta
I think we're
two.
both similar in that way, like extroverted introverts or introverted extroverts.
Potato.
Yes, where the stimulation, especially, I consider myself empathic. I'm not intuitive, but I definitely feel into energy.
I don't think you give yourself enough credit.
Oh, really?
I think you, because again, we've known each other for so long, you may not recognize it as you trusting your intuition, but you do. In conversations that we've had, especially in the last 2 years, I really see you connecting while you've always been empathic.
Yeah.
I think, when we have conversations, you'll be like, I've come to realize.
Yes.
And while you think that's your brain telling you that, that's really you probably downloading some messages from your higher self, because you are more open to hearing it.
I'm definitely trusting myself more. So I think that feels like part and parcel.
It is.
Of that occurring.
Okay, so if we couldn't connect to something, a voice, if you will, or a gut feeling, right? That's all kind of intuition. To make our decisions, you wouldn't be making decisions in that vein, right?
Yeah.
When we come from a place of lack of self-worth, self-esteem, self-value, we make decisions based on outside of us.
Yeah.
When we start to make decisions that feel good to us, we are totally connecting to our higher self, to our source, right? Know that, because we are vibrational. So if it feels good, it's right for you.
Yeah. Do you ever have moments where you've doubted, like, is this all,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's an imposter fraud.
That's the imposter.
Right. So that's where I kind of go,
okay.
Or
and not even just your own abilities. I mean, all of it. Like that there's this divine
because I went through, as I grew up as a Christian, and so religion was really important, a vital part up until my early 20s, when early to mid 20s, when I really started, I don't know, I lived in California. We both lived in California. So that environment is a little bit more conducive to kind of the hippie kind of thing, which I totally think I'm a hippie. I'm a woo-woo. Like I totally
100%.
am. And so when I got out there and was able to be exposed in a way that I hadn't in the Midwest,
right.
things started resonating more, things started landing more. And now I started having avenues of understanding vibration, understanding megahertz, understanding positive vibrations, negative, low and high, right? Yeah. So then things started to make a little bit more sense. And in the big picture going, we're ignorant if we think that, this is all that there is. And at the same point, I did pull away from organized religion because it didn't fit my intuitive understanding, because I think it is infinite.
Yes.
I think we may come from a collective source.
Yes.
And we just come off, whether it's in other planets, other universes, many times in this life.
Yeah.
It's
like,
this world,
here's all this stuff. It's so amazing. Let's organize it.
Right. And then there's parallel lives, parallel universe. I haven't quite figured that one out yet. So I'll be interested if you get a guess.
The quantum physics.
Yeah. When we start getting into that stuff, I'm not well versed enough yet.
Right. She's getting there.
Yeah. I'm a 5-year-old. I voraciously, try to pick up information. That's what my soul wants.
Yeah.
I mean, I am so, I don't know if I've said it enough, delighted to share Lisa's story. And stay tuned for part 2 when Lisa gives me a reading and you can see her amazing gifts in action. Anyways, as always, my name is Suzanne Sole. This has been the Spiritual Shitshow podcast. Thank you so fucking much for listening, and I will see you on the next one. Roll it, darling. Be a dear and roll it, would you?